traveller, how are we today? If you are new to the channel, my name is Mark. This is Toast Dragon Fantasy, and I have to say, you are looking completely acceptable today. I can't think of a greater compliment. Today, I have some book recommendations for you. I think it's about time I did another one of these. With my book recommendations, I've decided to do it through sort of sub-genres within fantasy. And today, we're going with Grimdark, because I know that the world is a tough place, but it's not an easy one. So I thought what I would do is I would use this opportunity to share with you some worlds of absolute misery and darkness and gore and bloodshed and morally ambiguous characters and anti-heroes and unhappy endings and all wonderful things that make me happy. No, but in all seriousness, if you do not know what Grimdark is, it is effectively stories that don't have your typical heroes, stories that contain a lot of gratuitous content, stories that don't have a happy ending, morally complex characters, I would say, is probably the biggest thing. That's what appeals to me about them. So, I have 4 books/series that I would like to recommend in today's video. So without further ado, the first series that I would like to recommend is the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. This trilogy consists of The Blade itself, Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Kings. It follows multiple perspectives, including Logan Ninefingers, who is a northern warrior with a very checkered past, and an alter ego who is the most feared warrior in existence. You also have Giselle Dan Luther, who is the young captain of the guard, who is earmarked for glory, but who is selfish and spoiled and lazy and everything you wouldn't want to see in a hero, which is one of the defining features of grimdark fantasy. You also have probably the greatest anti-hero that I've read for a long time, and that is Colonel Sand Dan Glotka, who was involved in the army, got captured by the enemy, was tortured for years, and then escaped and came back as a cripple, and now works as a torturer himself for the Inquisition. And his passages are particularly brilliant because he is so cynical, so against the world and the people within the world, and he sees so little light within the world, but he's still so compelling as a main character, and his point of view is probably the strongest part of the book. There's a whole host of other point of views. You've got your main sort of city being targeted from the south ultimately, warriors down south they've got to take care of at some point. They've got to go take on some warriors up north as well. Tons of battles, tons of gore. As I said, morally ambiguous characters everywhere. Dark and dingy and dirty world. I think it's the archetypal grimdark fantasy book of kind of this generation, if you like. Fantastic series. The second book that I would like to recommend is The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. This revolves around a library which currently is inaccessible for the people that work in the library. It is run by a character called simply the Father, and the Father has a group of orphans who he has working in this library, and each of these orphans have been given pretty much a schematic of knowledge. So one of them, for example, has every piece of knowledge about languages. There's one about healing, I believe, but then there are some more supernatural ones, such as death and reincarnation and coming back from the dead. The characters are, again, with the exception of one perhaps, morally ambiguous. The main character, Carolyn, I thought was very likeable, but is very cold, very distant, very hard to warm to, and again, those aren't characteristics that you would necessarily consider a hero having. The level of violence is at times excessive. In particular, one incident which will leave male readers wincing. I'll leave it at that. It is a bizarre read. It really is. I think everyone should give it a go just to experience it. It is an experience rather than just a read, but it was so compelling. The third recommendation that I have is A Crown for Cold Silver by Alex Marshall. This follows the story of a woman called Zoja, who many years ago had a group of 5 villains who were her kind of crack squad, and together they helped overthrow a kingdom. And she became queen. You know, it was thought that would be that, but then she faked her own death, passed the queendom on to someone else, and the villains kind of scattered and disappeared into obscurity. Fast forward 20 years or so, and now we are left with a point where this new queendom, the place where Zoja lives, has been in hiding, is destroyed, it's burnt. Everything that she knows in her new life is gone, including her husband. So she takes up the mantle once again for revenge. She gathers eventually her 5 villains, and it culminates, as it would, in in a big old battle. The story revolves around multiple perspectives, Zoja being one of them. Again, she's no hero. Her lust for blood and revenge is bordering on insanity. You also have Moroto, who is one of her villains, who is a strangely likeable character, actually. But he has many vices, many demons, none more so than his addiction to drugs and drink, which he cannot break from. He is in perpetual mourning because he still thinks for most of the book that Zoja is dead, so it's kind of him coming to terms still with that. The world is grim, it's dirty, it's dark, people get injured all the time, people don't heal, people die, all characteristics of Grimdark books. For me, the characters were its main strength, and I will be definitely getting around to the second book in the series very soon. Right then, those are my recommendations for you today. Let me know down in the comments whether you have read any of those books and whether you enjoyed them, or whether you have any recommendations for me, because I'm always on the lookout for good new books. So if you've got any good things that sound similar to what I've said today, mention them down in the comments and I will check them out. By the way, still on this book. It's wonderful. It is absolutely incredible, but it's just so long. So yeah, I've got about 150 pages left. I will have it finished by the end of the week. Sure. If you enjoyed today's video, please do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up, because that will tell me how well it is doing. If you are new to the channel and you've only just discovered me today, check out some of my other videos, and if you enjoy them as well, click the subscribe button and you will be notified whenever a new booktube or authortube video is heading your way. I focus very much on fantasy, but occasionally I will throw in skits, all kinds of things. So that is all I have for you today. So with that being said, my name is Mark. This is Toast Dragon Fantasy, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye.